Okay, good afternoon and welcome. Today is the 24th of January and my name is Shafiq Villasanti. I'm a coach and author and a speaker. I'm an author of this book, There's No Shame. But crucially, I'm also the survivor of 2 suicide attempts. And I'm doing an experiment today over the next month with regards to how the actions, the words that you speak can ultimately affect the outcome. Ultimately affect how your body reacts to stresses, to negativity. And as somebody who has suffered with mental health in the past and gone down a very dark road, I realised that when I came to my recovery, that the environment that I found myself in and how I lived my life and the words that I used and words that were being used against me really did create a very negative effect on my mental health and well-being. And my big turning point was understanding the words that we use and how we live our lives are crucial in overcoming and creating that new life. And I read something about 4.5 years ago from an individual called Masaru Emoto. Bear with me, I probably mullered his name. But crucially, he spoke about how water has memory. Now, bear with me, I haven't gone off the plot here. And it was a very interesting survey, and it's been done thousands of times thereafter, and it keeps yielding the same results. We all understand, don't we, that our body is made up of like 64% water. Just Google it. And most alarmingly, or most interestingly, I've got some figures here. The brain is 73% water. Our lungs are 83% water. Our muscles and kidneys are 79% water. That's a huge amount of our very being, the very person you see in front of you here, being made up of water. And we often use that image of somebody firing a gun, a watermelon is seen exploding. So we can see how much as we're strong and big and butch, we're also very fragile. So we're also fragile with regards to how we conduct ourselves or how we find ourselves day to day. So the idea of this experiment is to get some white rice, unopened, and some sealed containers. I've got 3 of these sealed containers, and direct words at it. Now these words are going to be words of love, words of hate, and to leave one alone. And after 21 days of speaking to these jars, yes, I will be speaking to these jars every day for 2 minutes each. That's 6 minutes in total. After 21 days, see what happens to the rice. Now, I won't give away any expected results that I'm expecting to see, but please come along with my journey with regards to how you ultimately can affect how you're feeling and the damage that you can do to yourself by using words that are emotive or strong or upsetting. And try and shift those words around to be positive, uplifting, forward-thinking words. We're going through a really challenging time at the moment with what's going on in the world, and we can ultimately feel like some rice that's being dispensed in this airtight jar, locked in, unable to escape. And that's the real meaning for this. When you're locked in this lockdown, how can these 4 walls either affect you adversely or affect you positively? That's what my mental health journey is all about. From being at the very lows to being at the very highs. From picking myself up again and understanding that what I spoke and how I dealt with things ultimately created a better mind, a better body, a better vision, a better focus moving forward. Okay, so as you see here, cooking with Shafiq, we have a bit of a rolling boil going on there. And some rice here, Sainsbury's long grain rice, cooks for 15 minutes. So I'm going to decant this into the rolling boil and see, after 15 minutes, nice and fluffy and puffy, and then let it cool down and decant it into these jars. So all in front of you, open here for the first time. There's nothing untoward, there's no setups here. I'm just going to pour that into the rice into the water, dare I say. There we go. Well, a high drop, there you go. That'll do. Let's turn that up. Okay, put the lid on. And the good thing about this, it's this time of year, is it not? It's freezing here in the UK. Any extra rice I have, just put it out on the bird table. Win-win, the birds win, the squirrels win, and most importantly, putting these in these decanters here, we will then be able to see over the 21 days how they progress. So I'm going to stick these labels on there: love, hate and alone. So one I will speak positively to. the other one I will speak negatively to, and the third one I will leave alone. And I will place them in this ice cream carton so they're together, put them under the stairs, bring them out every day for 2 minutes, say positive words. So the words which I'm going to speak positively to in the love jar, which will be stuck there, I'll be saying, you're amazing, you're great, you're calm, you are the most amazing thing that's happened to my life. You are loved to levels that I never thought positive. Just fill it full of really positive, you could say mushy, lovey words. Let's turn that down a bit. And then the next one, the hate one. Well, I'm going to use some nasty words, some bad language. I'm going to throw insults at it. I'm going to throw, you're just a failure, you're disappointing, you just give up all the time. Words to a large extent that were related to me, words that I related to myself when I was in my lowest point. And obviously it's all in the book, so you can find out how I came from where I was to where I am now. And the last one that I'm going to say call alone, I will literally just take it out of the ice cream tub, leave it on the kitchen table for 2 minutes, pop it back in. Okay, so we're halfway through the boiling. They're a nice rolling boil, as they say. What I've done is, you can see here, I've got the jars and stuck the labels on. And on the back of the loved ones, I've written words such as amazing, kind, loved, calm. And the hate one, I've written hate, nasty, pain, evil, hurtful. And obviously on the one that I'm going to leave alone, I've left alone. And the reason for me thinking about this was that a lot of times people that come my way in my coaching and my seminars and stuff will understand that the environment they find themselves in, or the relationships they find themselves, or the way they think that they find themselves thinking, is accountable for a lot of their decisions and a lot of their poor judgments and how they feel. And we'll know that those people that are living a particularly stressful life, or a life that's pretty taxing, or a life that's full of hurt and upset, will show it outwardly. We'll see those people that we might know that have had a tough life to live, or have lived a tough life, dare I say. And you'll think, my God, what's happened to them? And then you'll understand the backstory to them and think, my God, they're really showing it. Just like those people that we might know who have been fortunate, or have created their own fortune, not financially, but their emotional, their physical, their mental fortune, and look really good in life, look like they're thriving of life. And you start to think to yourself, is the environment that one finds themselves in that much of a pivotal building block to where we're going to end up? And ultimately, if we're going to look after ourselves, is the choice of words and is the choice of what we view on TV and our social media feeds crucial and critical in how we come out of this? And everything that's going on in the world at the moment led me to think, I've seen this, I read about this. This Mr. Masaru Emoto, I'm sorry if I've murdered his name, was really pivotal in how I thought. And how he spoke about water having memory. Yeah, water having memory. And unfortunately, I don't have a high-powered microscope, but he did the same with water, where he put 3 pint glasses and then said these words over and over again for like a month, and then put them in the freezer. And then when he took it out of the freezer, he looked at the icicles and the crystals that were formed. And the crystals that were formed were the ones that he loved, were beautiful, the most amazing snowflake-like crystals. But the ones that he threw hate at were deformed and just really naff-looking forms. Weren't icicles or crystals or anything. And that's how I realised myself that I'd got myself in such a position where I was surrounded by toxic people in a toxic environment, and I started to think subconsciously that that's who I was. The word "you're failing," "you're useless," "you're crap," "you're a disappointment," "you're letting yourself down," resonated with me on such a level that I could feel my very personality just draining away, becoming a very negative, toxic, disillusioned individual. And maybe if we understand, and we can't argue the fact about how much our body's made up of water, that might be affecting us now. So practice a bit of gratitude. Wake up in the morning, pull open the curtains and just say, thank you for the opportunities I have today. Look at the blue sky and thank you for the warmth, thank you for the possibilities that might come my way. Rather than just throwing the curtains open and throwing the bed sheets, I think, oh my God, head in the hands, what's going to happen to me, staying starting a downer. And if 2 minutes of practicing a little bit of alone time, a little bit of hate, and a little bit of love over the next 21 days shows the difference it will make, well, maybe that might make your life that much difference. And you know where your starting point is. 2 minutes a day for 21 days, practicing a little bit of gratitude, a bit of love, a little bit of calmness, a little bit of meditation, a little bit of fresh air, a little bit of breathing might make such a difference to you, like it might make the rice. So you can't really argue with the facts and figures. You can't really argue with the sentiment behind this. I've been on my own journey, and my own journey improved dramatically once I understood the power of words, the power of vibrations, the power of frequency, and the power of how my mind ultimately created that shift in me from being desperate to being fortunate to being really content and happy over the little things in life. Okay, so we're very, very close just to rinsing off. So once it's boiled up, I will rinse it under the cold water, let it cool down, and decant it. So there's no steam and all the rest of it going in there, because you could say, oh, well, it's the steam, it's the bacteria stuff. It's going to be nice and cold rice that's been rinsed out under water, the finest Thames water here in the UK, and decant it in there. But one thing that you might be sceptical about, and one thing you might think of, oh, well, what's all this about, is that we do know those individuals in our life that will enter our lives, or if you go out, or whatever it might be, or our workplace, that generally do give off those good vibrations. We know that there'll be individuals that we can not necessarily know what's gone on, but you can pick up the fact that they're very negative, they're very angsty, they're very argumentative, they're very doom and gloom. And you think, well, I don't want to be around those people. We naturally want to kind of repel ourselves away from people. And there'll be other people that just give off love and abundance and happiness and gratitude and just nice people to be around. It's like that favourite auntie, that favourite uncle, that favourite grandparent, isn't it? Some people we just like to be around. And that comes in from inside. That comes in from what they put out. That comes in from what they give out on a vibration, on a frequency, on a level that we can't necessarily put our finger on, but we just like being around them. Just like there are other people that we think, oh my God, they're turning up. I've got to avoid them at all costs. Now, we haven't actually had the conversation with them, but it's almost like we have to stand back because we don't like what's being put out. So if over the next sort of 21 days, I can put out hate, leave well alone, and a little bit of love and see how that affects it, then we know crucially, I use the word crucially a lot, if our body's made up of 64% as a whole, but our particular brain and heart is 73% water and our muscles and kidneys are 79% water, then how on earth could we contest the facts that we have to be very mindful of what we talk and how we listen and who we surround ourselves with? Because that will affect us on the inside. That will affect us on a level that we can't see, but ultimately it's something that we can feel through illness, through disease, through how we look at ourselves on the outside, what we see looking back at ourselves, our skin complexion, our immune system, aches and pains and all the rest of it. This hopefully will be a bit of an eye-opener and a bit of an introduction into vibration and frequency and how we view ourselves and the sort of language that we use day to day. Okay, so the rice, there you go, has been rinsed. A lot of starch came out of it. Took me back to my university days where I cooked rice for the first time. I didn't wash out the starch and I wondered why it tasted so atrocious. So I will now, off camera, just decant this. Well, I'll start decanting it, but it's going to be a bit boring. So let's put some spoonfuls into the love version. Put 2, 3, 4. Okay. Seal that. There you go. If any of these skeptics, I've sealed it on camera. Let's carry on, just so there's no skepticism here. So this is going into the leave alone. That's 2, 3, that's 4. Okay, sealed. And the last one will be the hate. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that's been sealed up there. Okay, so I will then put them in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go, you can see them. Where are we? Here we go. And that's it. And I will start saying those words. So I'll do some now off camera, and then I will do a recording of it tomorrow and I'll post it via YouTube. So if you want to follow me in the journey, feel free. Please like, please share, subscribe. Likes makes a huge difference. Subscribing makes a huge difference. It ultimately gets this message out. And my message is always about breaking down the stigmas and taboos associated with poor mental health and what works for me and what works for my clients. And ultimately, why people buy the book. If you want to get the book, get it from www.shafiqempowermentcoaching.co.uk. There'll be links in the description below. And please get behind this. I generally look forward to seeing the results. I've seen it over a number of years since I've been doing what I'm doing, a coach, a speaker, and an author. But I'd like to see it for myself. And I think with what's going on in the world, as I said before, this whole lockdown thing, we do feel like we're locked in. And whilst we're locked in and whilst we're restricted with our movements, we've got to be very mindful of how we speak and how we interact with our loved ones and friends and family. So why not try this experiment? Have the most amazing day. As I always say, you've got to believe to succeed. There's no shame. Grab yourself a copy of the book from the website, or you can get it via Amazon and Kindle. But yeah, look forward to seeing you on this journey. Have a great day. Cheers. Bye.